one of the things that I just can't stand about politicians is when they won't answer a direct question. Here's Chrystia Freeland, the basically Canadian Vice Prime Minister or Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Chair, Minister, how much has the government collected in carbon taxes since you implemented it?
I didn't hear the last question.
How much has the government collected in carbon taxes since it was implemented?
So thanks for the question, and it gives me an opportunity to be really clear about the price on pollution. This
is a very simple, direct question. Just answer it. It's not that hard.
Goes back directly to Canadians.
I only have limited time, Minister.
That is the key point.
How much has your government collected in carbon taxes?
Also an opportunity for me to point out that Manitoba families will be getting $1,200 this year.
Again, Minister, if I could just have the number, how much have you collected in carbon taxes?
Does she not know? I mean, this seems like a pretty important figure for a high-ranking government official to know. If you don't know, I mean, just say that. That's fine.
Canadians want the answer
the money
to
does not go into general revenues. It is returned to Canadians.
What is the dollar value of all carbon taxes collected since the tax was implemented?
The key point is that is money in the pockets of Canadians. For Manitoba families this year, it's going to be $1,200. That is making a real difference.
Just the number, Minister. How much has the government actually collected in carbon taxes?
As I said, the key point...
What is she trying to hide? Why can't she just answer the question?
Greatest of respect, it's not revenue neutral. In fact, the estimate, no, the Minister, the estimates say that you refuse to answer giving accurate information, Minister. The government's own financial documents, your main estimates show that you've collected $20.7 billion in carbon taxes and has only paid out $18.6 billion since the carbon tax took effect. Oh, your government has collected over $2 billion out of the pockets of Canadians since the tax was implemented that you have not paid back. That's from your own main estimate. So will you correct the record and admit the truth?
No, it is 100% revenue neutral, and I'm
glad... Are you
saying
the main estimates are wrong?
I am saying that is money that is being held for small businesses, and small businesses will have good news soon because that money is going to be returned to them.
The carbon tax is just part and parcel of what might be called the Green New Deal. This whole idea that we have to sabotage our economy in order to stop global warming, climate change. The reality is, it's a tax grab for the political elite. They're using the money to subsidize low-income individuals. It's blatant vote buying. Meanwhile, this is hitting some Canadians particularly hard. Truckers have been independent, small truckers have been just devastated by this. They're paying, the whole cost of this fuel increase, and they're not getting any relief. A lot of business people, people operating their own small businesses, they're paying through the roof when it comes to fuel costs, and that's just part of the affordability crisis that so many Canadians are dealing with. I mean, our economy has just been languid for the past 10 years. We've had very little economic growth, and part of the reason is the Trudeau government's tax hikes. There's been blatant hostility from the Trudeau government towards Canada's oil and gas sector, which is a vital part of the Canadian economy. I mean, let's face facts. We're a resource-based economy. That is what we have to offer in the global stage. In the 21st century, you got to be competitive. We're dealing with countries like Vietnam and China that can manufacture things for pennies on the dollar. We've got our Americans, neighbors to the south, who have an economy 10 times our size, a much larger industrial base, and their farmers get an extra season, growing season, crop yields, So what does Canada have to offer in the global stage? Well, we have natural resources. We have abundant rare earth minerals. We have oil and gas. So that's what we should be pivoting to. We should play to our strengths, and we should be doing more development up north, more mines. Create these good, high-paying, blue-collar jobs that anybody can get. I used to live in Alberta for a little while. I'm from Ontario. I used to live in Alberta, and there were so many people that would go to the camps and go to the oil fields, and they'd be making six figures a year, doing important work, and you don't need to have necessarily, a postgraduate degree, or even post-secondary degree. So I think we really need to ask ourselves, where is Canada going? What are we going to be doing to stay competitive, to have our economy grow? Trudeau has just been making mistake after mistake. Look at the pipeline. How many billions of dollars have been spent on that? It's still not operational. The private sector was willing to front the costs, but then the wacko leftists shut that down with their protests, and it's impossible to get anything done in Canada without tripping over 5 different leftist groups that are going to protest, because that's what they do. So the carbon tax, I don't think anybody really believes that it's revenue neutral. It's wealth redistribution from the economic class, from businessmen and people that are working for a living, to the professional welfare class, to the political class, and now Canadians are paying the price in terms of higher cost of goods. Fuel is the lifeblood of our economy. You're going to tax fuel, and everything's going to go up in cost. And now they're hiking the carbon tax again. And what is the income on, energy costs, which are already outrageous because we've got an absurdly government-controlled, government-ran energy sector in Canada, and the whole system, ludicrous. They spend way too much money on windmills and whatnot. We have abundant hydroelectric, which seems the way to go, minimal emissions. We should have been investing in nuclear 20 years ago. That was a huge mistake. But bottom line, this carbon tax is a horrible, horrible thing for average Canadians, really sabotaging our economy, and a very clear misstep by the Trudeau regime. But mostly, why doesn't she just answer the question? It's a direct question. It deserves a direct answer. That's what we're paying you for. You're the second in command of the Canadian government. Your job is to answer questions directly, communicate honestly with the Canadian public. And if there's some hard truths, then bite the bullet and say those hard truths. If you don't know the answer, say you don't know the answer, but don't hide it. Don't dance around it. We're Canadians. We can deal with the truth.